It isn't revolution, but what happened today has certainly been unimaginable for years. The Muslim Brotherhood, hated by Mubarak, feared by Western governments, officially an illegal organisation here, today in formal talks with the regime. And while much of Cairo started to get back to business, the numbers in Tahrir Square swelled yet again. Our international editor, Lindsay Hilsum, has been at the heart of another unprecedented day.
Christians and Muslims together in Tahrir Square. Even the secular Egyptians here say they're not afraid of the Muslim Brotherhood. It was just President Mubarak, they say, who used fear of Islamic extremism to scare his American and Israeli backers.
They shouldn't listen to Mubarak lies about Islamic Brotherhood, and I believe he's also threatening Mubarak, and his regime is threatening Israel. If he goes, the people will be against Israel, and this is another lie. We want to live in peace.
One of the Brotherhood's senior figures was in the crowd. He even suggested that they didn't want to break Egypt's peace treaty with Israel.
Even though it's our right to have a presidential candidate, we announced that we won't have one at this time. We want a democratic country based on social justice. We concur with all our partners that we shall respect international agreements.
Even as protests continued, representatives of the banned group were meeting Vice President Omar Suleiman, something unthinkable 10 days ago. Brotherhood leaders listed their demands.
The immediate removal of this regime, beginning with Hosni Mubarak, the lifting of the emergency laws that we've been living under for the last 30 years, a complete end to that, dissolving the parliament, which is in place as a result of blatant election rigging, and finally the release of all political prisoners.
That's exactly what the other protesters are calling for, but they're still holding out for President Mubarak to go now, and they have no trust.
They can negotiate, but we are still here. We are not leaving this square until we get what we ask for.
The tanks just started their engines, so people went rushing towards them, afraid that they were going to enter the square and make the space for protest even smaller. Already Tahrir Square is like an island. Outside, Egypt's getting back to normal. The government's conducting negotiations with the opposition. So maybe the regime now feels that it's contained these protests. Demonstrations are about banners and slogans. Negotiations are about complex documents, and one was issued by the Vice President's office today. It said he had agreed with a variety of opposition representatives a program for a peaceful transition of authority. But the status of the document isn't clear, and those in the square aren't ready to abandon the exuberance of revolution for the painstaking detail of political reform.
Lindsay Hilsum reporting, and we'll get an update from her live a little later in the programme. We'll hear too from a key player in the crisis, Egypt's Foreign Minister Ahmed Abul Gate, who says there is now no question of Mubarak going before September.